everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays The Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus. You know what? No. I don't care that we're Maggie. I'm not re-randoming because we're Maggie. I'm re-randoming because the streak is 0, and I need redemption. The quickest way to get redemption is to slay the beast that slayed you. You ever played Dark Souls? We're getting our freaking bloodstain back. VH8XA7CX. Seems like a familiar seed for whatever reason. Why Judas? Judas, not the hardest character in the game. However, I recently posted a Judas video in which I died 3 times in the same episode. It was embarrassing. I also had a daily where I ranked 5,000th, and I won't speak about the other daily because it probably will not go up until later tonight. But let's just say redemption wouldn't be the worst thing in the world right now. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take the strength card because that's a free deal with the devil. And we're going to win. And once we get this win, we'll go back to randoming. But yeah, I feel like I've been hit by a string of a combination of poor play and bad luck in Isaac. And it's up to me to get out of it. More poor play than bad luck. Keep in mind, we did win 2 lost runs and a keeper run recently. Like within the past week or 10 days or so. But this is our chance to get ourselves out of the doldrums here, and I hope that you'll acquiesce and agree and give me the opportunity to redeem myself on this Judas run today. For now, I think all we gotta do is play well, and we'll be fine. Usually, I mean, that goes without saying to some extent, I suppose, but it's not always guaranteed. That's why the older I've gotten, to be honest with you, and pull back the veil a little bit, my anxiety has gotten a lot worse. And I think it's because I pretend to understand variance now. Not to say that I understand it. I was very careful of my diction. But now I'm like, you know, I thought about it while I was studying for this certification test. And I was like, you know, sure, I could do the mock exam and get like 85. That means I will get like 100 if the actual exam is the same as the mock exam. But you know, what if I brain fart up a couple of the questions in this section, and then you might think that this is like overly worrisome, but I don't necessarily think so. I mean, let's put it this way, to get a 90% on like an exam, what do you need to know? What percentage of the course material do you need to know? Do you need to know 90%? Do you need to know 100%? Or do you need to know, like, you know, 75% and maybe get a little lucky? This is a boring topic of conversation, but hopefully you sort of understand where I'm coming from. Same thing I think about it, like, when I'm driving sometimes. I'm like, even if I'm paying 100% attention, there are things that I will not be able to avoid. Like if somebody else is paying 0% attention, could cause problems. That's why I get really aggravated when I'm driving. And I know there's some of you out here watching this video. Use your freaking signal lights. There's literally no cost to using your signal lights. If someone wants to cut you off in traffic because they saw that you put your signal light on and they're like, I'm gonna get ahead of this guy and not let him in, rest assured that, you know, you might get home 45 seconds later, but at least you're not a douchebag like that person, right? That person's just a straight up piece of garbage. So feel good about the fact that you are not them. But anyway, you know, so I think about variance. You know, when you're young, it's not uncommon, although not guaranteed, to have, you know, unduly high confidence, and not even in a bad way. You're like, I'm confident I'll do well. I know the material. That's a safe attitude to have, and it's probably a healthy attitude to have. Pyro in a crawl space. Wait, what is it? What are the lyrics to? It's not strange, that's it. Pyro in a crawl space, it's not strange. He just wants to give you bombs this way. Okay, thank God this actually paid dividends, because we could have been in a weird spot if it didn't. Now I'm like, oh, if I want to get a 60 on this, I need to know 110% of the material. And maybe that's a good attitude in its own way as well. Same thing when I'm driving. I'm like, many times I'm driving, I've got my phone hooked up to the Bluetooth part of my car so that it plays music from my phone, and then the music that I've set up in the playlist will just stop, and there's no way to get it started again without looking at my phone. I will have a silent drive for the next however long it takes. It happened like last summer. We were driving to Portland, like 2 hours into the 5-hour drive, which actually ended up being like 7 hours because of traffic. Music cut out. Kay was asleep. I was like, well, I guess, you know. Hello, silence, my old friends. Didn't have any choice, you know. I'm a cautious person. Probably overly, you know, risk averse at this stage in my life. How does this factor into the Binding of Isaac? I don't remember how it factors into the Binding of Isaac. I got lost on this tangent and now I apologize. But the Zane is still there, and that's what's so weird, is that they gave me like a D6 room right now. I'd say, thank you, sir, can I have another? If they gave me a D69 right now, I'd say, you know, let me check on my wife first. I mean, we're a married couple in a monogamous relationship here. I don't want to step on her toes here by engaging in mutual oral stimulation with the video game. See, I don't know what a D69 room is. All I know is that if you start playing with a 70-sided dice, you've reached peak nerddom, and I'm simultaneously ashamed of you and also jealous, because that sounds like fun. Either way, there we go. This is where we can use our strength card for good, not for evil. That's a terrible item. So, this is great. Yeah, so we basically, for 1 HP and 1 strength card, we just got 2 of the best. Well, 2 very good. 1 of the best and 1 very good item. That's a sentence that made like no sense. What I'm trying to say is that we got a pretty smoking deal there. We never should have been able to afford it, but we came in with a coupon, and now we can fly. And on top of the flying, we also have Incubus, which is a huge help for us in dealing more damage. Straight up, yeah. Instead, okay, dude. 10 cents for 3 Spirit Arts. This run is all about value right now, and it's working out very nicely. We are now outside of that kind of like gestation period as Judas. It should be nearly impossible for us to die. Our damage is not incredible necessarily, but the utility that we have is out of control. And I mean, I'll just leave it up to you guys to notice that we picked up like literally 94 cents or something. 90, well, I guess we probably picked up more than 94, but not all of it was counted. On 1 room. That's pretty ridiculous. It's more money than you get on most runs. And we just got it all for the nookie. So if you'd like, you can take that cookie. What does he mean? Okay? People got on my butt a little bit for misinterpreting the lyrics to No Scrubs, but I chose to selectively ignore those comments. You could take that cookie and stick it up your yap. So that's a very punk statement, because most of us would stick a cookie into our mouths, and I don't think that's what he's suggesting. You think he's suggesting that you put it up your posterior. And then maybe spin afterwards, depending on how much he's channeling the Fonz. Is this somebody's offering him a cookie? Or is the girl in the song who, you know, put his tender heart into a blender and still he surrenders? Maybe she owns like a small cookie store or something? Is that the... She's like a baker? She runs a small business? She is a baker. She runs a small business. And she's raising up 3 very lovely girls. They all have hair of blonde, like their father. West Borland's brow unfurls. I don't know. It's the Brady Bunch theme song. Watched a lot of Nick at Night as a kid on my grandparents' gray market satellite television. Don't tell the American government. I was a child. I was an accessory to the crime at worst. And it's made me the lovely so-and-so you see in front of you to this day. By the way, I don't want to interrupt my own tangent, but Blood Bag is very valuable here because we also got Black Powder, an item that I think is... it runs the spectrum from garbage to excellent, with the excellent side correlating 100% with your speed, basically. Better your speed is, the better your Black Powder skills are going to be. Yeah, it did. You know, I sincerely grew up watching, like, Gilligan's Island, I Dream of Jeannie. And I've developed, obviously the Brady Bunch. I didn't develop the Brady Bunch. That's, like, probably a Merv Griffin joint or something. I've developed whatever the opposite of nostalgia is. I think I've ascended to a new level of, like, cultural hipsterdom. People go, oh, hey, man, you guys remember Biker Mice from Mars? That was awesome. And I'm like, no, it was shit. anything that I liked when I was 5 is trash. You know, I've developed anti-nostalgia. I don't know if it's good. Obviously, anti-nostalgia is also a Merv Griffin joint, by the way, but yeah, I don't know, like, if that's a valid approach to things. I would imagine probably the most valid approach is to, you know, judge everything on its own merits, but that's extremely time-consuming, and, you know, sometimes it means that people could have to, like, back up, you know, they'd ask you to back up your opinion, and that's gonna be troublesome. Everybody wants to get in arguments all the time. Let's grab this. Let's donate as well. Like, we might as well. That's our get-out-of-jail-free card for Boss Rush. Okay. That's a great pill, dude. Grab that, too. I'm not at all complaining about my lot in life. For real. I'm very happy with where I am in life. Even, like, you know, maybe like 4 years ago, a super bad Isaac run would have... It would have not gotten me down too much, but for at least, like, a little while, I would have been like, oh... You know, Kate's like, what's wrong? I'm like, oh, I had a really bad Isaac run. I'm gonna get roasted in the comments when it goes up on YouTube, right? I got a little bit more of a nihilistic approach to it. I'm like, sometimes the Isaac videos are good play, sometimes they're bad play. There's an audience that likes listening to me ramble. They use these to fall asleep. Even an Isaac episode in which I don't play my best is fine, because first off, I'm never going to be the best player in the world, so that's, you know, dismissive, but also at the same time, quite freeing. And then beyond that, that's not the only value of these episodes. That's, you know, I've gotten a lot more easygoing about stuff like that. Or, like, missing a day of a series bothers me less. You know, I used to get, like, stomach aches about stuff like that, sincerely. You ever wonder why... You know, youtube.com/Northernlion's got the kind of consistency that it does. Yeah, consistently letting me down by canceling series without due process. Okay, I mean, maybe you got me there. But, oh, that hurts. You know, it's largely motivated by fear and abdominal discomfort. But anyway, much more nihilistic about stuff like that now, which I think is good. You know, it's a smart approach. I forget what I was talking about, like, mere seconds before that. Oh, it's to everybody arguing. Yeah, okay, so, like, I'm not complaining about my lot in life, but sometimes, you know, you're doing a Twitch stream and people ask you questions. They'll be like, hey, Nell, what's your favorite Marvel movie? And I'll be like, you know, you gotta give it up to the Winter Soldier for sure. I think I'd probably say, for me, it's Captain America Civil War. And then, you know, most people are saying about it, but some people are like, you must defend your position. Explain to me right now why it's Captain America Civil War, not Guardians of the Galaxy. And you'll be like, well, despite the fact that, you know, the Marvel movies with Captain America and Civil War, you know, they kind of follow a formula to some extent, and, you know, they're bereft of huge consequences for the characters of the franchise. And I, you know, would really like if in the Avengers Infinity Wars Part 1, they just killed off Iron Man in like 2 seconds to prove that nobody is safe, you know, kind of like do some Game of Thrones stuff to keep people guessing. I still respected it as kind of like a masterwork of that particular genre of filmmaking. And, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy is also great. It succeeds on tone, I agree. But for whatever reason, I'm more of a Captain America Civil War man. I guess I like, you know, it's like the New England Patriots of superhero movies. It's not necessarily inventive, but it's extraordinarily well crafted, I guess. Logan, though, amazing as well. Definitely a candidate. You know what? Let's go for it. Why not? Let's go. But we do need to buy some Spirit Hearts, hopefully. Or something from the shop, at least. People always want to argue. I'm telling you, I think that's a young person's game. Arguing about media. Not all. I'm not saying you are young if you do it, by the way, or you're juvenile or immature, but I don't know, man. The older I get, the less interested I find myself. I still will roast Nicholas from time to time. I don't think Grandma's Boy's great, but I respect his right to enjoy it. Tower Heist is the one that always gets me, because it's a movie that when I watched it, I could not offer up any sort of opinion about it at all. It's like, you know, the bread at Olive Garden or something like that. You want some more bread? What do you think? You know, take it or leave it, right? But he found himself touched by Tower Heist. In a way, I think I'm jealous of that sincerity. But it's also funny to harp on because it's a Brett Ratner film. I mean, come on. But People, like, they love to argue about media. I've been following, because I follow, like, subcultures. And that, not as, like, a hobby, but, you know, I have not liked, like, a DC superhero film in forever. I have nothing against them, I just have watched them and not liked it. But sometimes I go to, like, Marvel Cinematic Universe subreddit or the DC Cinematic Universe subreddit. It's amazing. People are, like, getting into internet fistfights over these movies. I'm not saying, you know, if you feel like that's a good use of your time, by all means, but I don't know, man. I kind of feel like if possible, you should let it go. It'd be good for your blood pressure, and take it from someone, you know, who's got borderline to high blood pressure. I think I would know. Probably from yelling about, like, that's not the right way to eat cheese on the NLSS all the time. Just mellow out a little bit. It's okay. Here's the thing. No matter how hard you fight on the internet and be like, you know, how can you listen to that? Kendrick Lamar's Damn is the only hip-hop album that blah, blah, blah. People are going to listen to and watch and eat and read trash all the time. It's never going to stop. And that's okay. Because that's the future that the human race has doomed itself to. We're not ready to go. I mean, we might as well, actually, now that I think about it. We just got the goat head as well, so we got free deals with the devil. You are better served using your time to find great stuff for yourself. Not just to be selfish, but because everybody's got their own preferences. And also, like, people will like you more, I think. Nobody likes... One of the most offensive things you can say to somebody is, like, you have bad taste, you know? It calls, like, their whole being into question. It's extremely impolite. You're kind of being a jerk. Unless, you both agree on the terms of the discussion, you know? Like, on the NLSS, is we try to make sure everybody, at least that's... In my head, that's how I think it works. Everybody's on the same page before we go, actually, you are a moron, and here's why. But, I mean, come on, paper plates... I fry like potatoes, get high like plates. If you catch me on there's a joke there. There's a joke there somewhere. Like a song by Supertramp. Link to your friends with the timestamp. There's a joke somewhere. There's a joke somewhere. Okay, we need this. We need this. No. The Vert pill. I do not want it. I don't know, it's been a preachy episode. I feel like, the episodes when I come back from being away are always preachy. Because I don't have the meme catalog is not stored up. So I have to talk about real world garbage, man. It's not like it's overly personal or anything like that. But the good news is the discussion of, or the topics of discussion in this Isaac episode so far definitely would seem to indicate that we are going to win, or at least be in a pretty dominant position, as you can tell. Oh, this is awesome. So you take the Sun card. Never mind, it's actually not that awesome, because we can't use the Sun card for mapping. So what we do instead is, we still have a Moon card, right? That's the other one. We take these Sun cards, and we at least use them to clear one room each, which probably justifies the time spent. That being said, if your favorite Marvel movie is not Winter Soldier, Civil War, the first Avengers movie, the first Iron Man movie, Logan, or Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like the onus is on you to explain. I'm not saying you can't... you should always have the right... if you're like, my favorite Marvel movie is Iron Man 2, I want to have a conversation with you, because that's not a popular opinion. I want to know what in your, your taste-making preferences has led you to that opinion. It's the same for food. If you're like, my ideal meal is a French fry sandwich. Please meet me at a coffee shop. I'm going to talk to you for 45 minutes. I want to figure out why. Not that I think that you're wrong, although personally the concept of a French fry sandwich, it doesn't make me want to throw up, but it doesn't seem that appetizing to me. I know that chip buddies exist, but it's one of those foods that we just sort of go, hey, Europe, thanks for settling us and all that, but like, Can you fart off with that? Because that's nonsense. What's this Ansus? And look, you're going to say that that's offensive, and in many ways you're going to be right. I mean, we eat poutine in Canada. It's not like a common meal, but I assume that chip buddies are not necessarily a common meal in the UK as well. But we're talking a French fry sandwich. There's also a toast sandwich. That's too far. One piece of toast in between two pieces of untoasted bread. That's not a sandwich. I mean, it is a sandwich. I'm not so worried about the classification as I am the fact that this is going to fuel a human being's life for a little while. That scares me. But then in the Netherlands, they have like rainbow bread, unicorn bread, whatever it's called. Unicorn bread, that is ridiculous. It's called rainbow bread. No, okay, they're both ridiculous because what it is white bread, butter, and sprinkles. You know, every country's got some food item that is just, you know, bad, but like, it seems like the kind of thing that, you know, when you get to the border, you tell tourists, like, hey, you know, make sure you have a sprinkle sandwich when you're in Amsterdam. Then when they come back, they go, sprinkle sandwich, oh yeah, it was unusual. And they're like, you actually did it, you idiot. I mean, Iceland has, you know, fermented shark's fin or whatever. But I'm not totally convinced that that one isn't just a joke that's played by the tourism department. You could say, like, they ate it back in the freaking, you know, 10th century or something. Sure. I ain't living in the 10th century, though, you know? I don't think they were like, hey, give me the shark's fin. Maybe they were, though. I don't know. I'm not an Icelandic historian, although I have read Njal's saga. Yeah, I remember basically zero of it. Okay. We're going... First off, we're taking too much damage. Secondly, we have been to the shop. Have we been to the item room? I don't think so. We are going to make boss rush. But we should stop taking damage. Our speed's almost too high. Okay, that was really bad. Don't get stomped, buddy. This is like a dangerous situation. Okay, we gotta go. Oh! Oh! My brain! What did I say? It's a run for redemption. So we missed... we missed out on our chance to get to boss rush because of my own idiocy. What am I doing? I actually mind flooded myself. I didn't know that such a thing was even possible. It's just because I'm such a highly tuned esports athlete that if I go away for like 36 hours, I just lose all of my Isaac skill. I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, I mean, obviously that was idiotic, but rest assured, I feel the shame of the cold chicken nugget of shame deep within my own bosom here. Men have bosoms, right? Of varying size. I could describe myself as having a bosom. It doesn't just mean breasts, right? Give me a second here. Bosom. A woman's chest. Okay, so definitely not. There was that phrase, bosom buddies. And the word has lost all meaning, by the way, bosom. But I thought that meant, you know, you were friends who, like, you know, hugged each other really close. Apparently it does not mean that. It only refers to a woman's chest. My mistake. Still, if I'm wearing a shirt that's too tight, you caught me from the right profile, you could be forgiven. Alright. Truth be told, this is the situation in which I thrive. 2 HP on the womb, and I've made a mistake so egregious that to lose the run at this point would call my actual, like, brain health into question. So we have to win right now to, you know, preserve, if nothing else, at least my own sense of identity. So it's very important for me to dial in here and get this taken care of. Plus, you know, people are always telling me, they're like, NL, don't do boss rush so much. Boss, you're letting it control your whole play. So I said, okay, I'll make it 2 boss rush and then just not do it for some reason, you know, some arbitrary reason that seems to make any sense at all. Why is everything that's supposed to be bad make me feel so good? Nice dodges, nice kills, and spirit hearts are coming back fast and furious. I mean, again, as I've said many times on this run, we basically should have no reason to lose. even getting down to 1 spirit heart on the last floor was the result of, like, aggregated mistakes. Should never have been hit by Mom. Should never have been hit there, to be honest with you. But with Sack Dagger and, you know, the amount of speed we have, never should have been hit by Mom. I think I'm just, you know, guilty of not seeing the board that well, playing a little too impatiently, probably not using my spacebar item as often as I should, and I'm letting it get under my skin. But that's basically the purpose of this run, was to get around that. So, continue. We haven't lost the plot completely yet. High Priestess is at least okay. I still don't really know what I'm drowsy pills do. I kind of just use them as if they're I'm excited and they have an effect outside of the room, but I don't think that's the case. I think maybe they only affect the room you're presently on. It's like, I don't think I can recall a situation in which I've been like, oh, thank God we had I'm drowsy active, unless we had used it on the room that we were actually in. By the way, I should have mentioned this, but this is the first, like, non-daily I've done since the second booster pack has come out, so I was kind of hoping to see some new mechanics, new items, and stuff like that. But so far, it's been a pretty vanilla run. But I know I was really excited to see that the buzz on the booster pack was very positive. First off, because I think it's good the game could use a win. Basically, a lot of the press around Afterbirth Plus was not necessarily that amazing for reasons that, I mean, largely were warranted, but in my opinion at least. It's kind of a case-by-case basis, but and secondarily, of course, because my professional health is pretty much directly tied to the success and, you know, public perception of this game. So it's always nice when you see news about Isaac on, like, a source that's not Isaac specific and people are stoked about it. I'm like, hey, okay. It's been a while. People were not necessarily immediately thrilled with Afterbirth Plus or the mod support that came with Afterbirth Plus, so. In fact, I was talking to Sinvicta last night, and he said, oh, you idiot. No, he didn't say I'm an idiot, but he probably thinks it from time to time, and that's fair. He said, like, the booster packs are probably the best thing about Afterbirth Plus. And honestly, I might be inclined to agree with him. The fact that we know there's going to be, like, injections of content at a regular intervals that is vetted by kind of a central source is good, you know? I know that a lot of the content is maybe all of the content? No, just a lot of the content is, like, taken from the mods to begin with the permission of the mod makers. But still. We're still, like, so far from being out of the woods yet. I'm a little embarrassed, but it's one of these. None of these are balls of steel, unfortunately. Spirit hearts, please. Beautiful. Thank you. We're back. A dinosaur's story. Verp uses our last pill. That's I can see forever, right? Thought maybe we'd, like, look for a second secret room quickly. And then immediately I've decided that idea stinks because we didn't find it right away. Where could it be now? Let's get out of here. I mean, I don't really want to verp an I can see forever pill, but I think I will. Because the odds of Balls of Steel, for example, showing up again are not necessarily high. Wait, did we even use I can see forever last? We didn't, did we? So we gotta wait for another pill to show up that we recognize, and then we can copy it into Verp. Because I think the last one we used was Relax. There you go. See, think consciously about things for like 2 seconds. Don't let your subconscious brain make the same mistakes you've been making long term here. Thank you, Sack Dagger. Do we really care about having 5 homing bombs? Even with like 85 bombs? Sure, 85 homing poison bombs is good, but you know me. I'm unlikely to use them that frequently. It's just not in my repertoire. We've really gotten quite lucky that it seems like we're gonna make it out of this situation relatively unscathed. Like, we came close to dying many times, and we also just brain farted our way, you know, out of a boss rush. Anyone that actually does the The seeds, by the way, which I believe I showed it off earlier. Feel free to tell me what you got out of Boss Rush. You know, I'm not gonna hide from the truth. There's no way to spin that as if like I didn't just make a ridiculous mistake. So I would love to know what this run could have looked like. Maybe you guys got lucky and it was like Blue Baby's only friend. You got spared from the minutia. Or maybe it would have been like homing tears, piercing shots, and I would have been super bummed to find out, but interesting to know nonetheless. Either way, we're certainly not fighting Hush, which sucks because we have the resources for it, but except for HP, which is the big one. I do see that there is a Delirium portal. We have to do the chest. Like, we actually cannot. You got 4 different paths to go after the Mom's Heart boss fight. We gotta go chest. We need the items. We also need to take, I wouldn't say the easiest path. Well, I guess the easiest path would be to just go down to Shoal, because we have the Polaroids, so we wouldn't be able to fight the lamb. That was terrible. Just hold it together here. You know, you got the lead on the last lap of a Mario Kart race. You don't have to hit every shortcut, although that would help. You just need to not fall off the track, and then eventually just pray that they don't give them lightning and blue shells. Dude, there's a scientific research paper to be done about the effects of playing Mario Kart. Because I've been playing a lot of, well, not a ton, like not 15 hours, but I played probably like 8 or 9 hours of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch. And I gotta say, for someone who was fairly skeptical in advance of it, I'm really having a good time with the Switch. Mostly because Mario Kart is awesome, but also Tumbleseed, RIP, but also the ability to grab a Pro Controller and then just put the screen up on my headboard and play it in bed is really nice. It's an extremely portable system. I'm not trying to sell you on a Switch. Lord knows Nintendo basically hates me. I think I've told this anecdote before, but, you know, we got dusted when we tried to get a media appointment for the newest Zelda game last E3, and the scuttlebutt was that, not that I'm, like, famous or infamous within the industry, but let's be honest, I'm just one dude who plays video games. But I've been known in some press circles as a guy who, I guess, covers games, has some influence, particularly for indie stuff, maybe. And they were like, oh yeah, we're aware of him, but we don't think his content really fits Nintendo's family-friendly brand image. And I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, there was that Pokemon World Tournament where the winners threw shit on each other's doors. I wouldn't want to. I mean, I get what they have a right to control their brand until the game releases anyway. But all I'm saying is that if anything, I have cause to be more biased against Nintendo than be biased in their favor. And I think the Switch is a really cool platform right now. But every time I'm in like 7th place in a Mario Kart, oh, we're guppy. Holy crap, are we ever guppy? Anytime I'm in like 7th place in a Mario Kart race and then I get hit by a red shell, I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then of course when I'm in 8th place, you know I'm throwing that red shell at 7th place because I don't want to finish in 8th, I want to finish in 7th. But I'm like, you're just letting the people ahead of us get further ahead, you scumbag. We need to form like a union back here and use all of our power-ups against the elites up front. They're the ones truly crushing us here. And like playing Mario Kart with your spouse adds like a whole new dynamic into it, because I'm like, I do believe in like a perfect world we should be able to be 100% competitive towards one another. But like if I'm in 1st place and I send a green shell backwards to hit her while we're racing with other people, that's like, I phrased it actually in the wrong way, because she actually doesn't get mad at me, but sometimes, you know, I'll be in like 2nd and she'll be in 1st. She'll hit me with something and I'll fall back to 5th, and I'm like, you don't understand. If I finish in 2nd, that means the other person can't finish in 2nd, and that means me and you as Team Ferrari move further ahead in the GP standings. Like, I'm here to be your Cal from Talladega Nights. Sometimes she's all about the thrill of the kill. She is also better than me, which is part of it. I think I remember Cal's full name from Talladega Nights. Is his name Cal Naughton Jr.? My brain chooses to remember the full name, including suffix, of John C. Reilly's character from the 2006 film Talladega Nights, The Ballad of Ricky Bobby. Can't remember the second stage of the Krebs cycle. If you remember it, good for you, but once you get out of your biology class, you're not. Take it from somebody who is at least on paper employable in the biological world. Why would I ever take so much damage there? That's just like slanderous. Okay. That was very stupid of me. So here's what we're gonna do instead. We could use Sack Dagger to finish the job. That's lazy. Let's complete our redemption. At least half of our redemption. The win here was not difficult. It was actually, I mean, first off, we don't have it yet, but on paper, not a difficult win. In fact, a very easy win that we almost squandered. But we didn't squander it. And honestly, that's a cut above the last 3 Judas runs we had in that one video. So I'm going to bounce and say, you know what? This is a good foundational stone for us to build our confidence on. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps out a great deal. And of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, I offer myself forgiveness for my own mistakes, and I hope you do the same. I'll see you next time.